Scandinavian Bob here, hi. There is something important about urges that almost no one talks about. And in order to do a good job with NoFap, you need to know this, so make sure to stay focused for the whole video now. You see, a lot of guys are literally afraid of having urges on NoFap. And hey, that's very understandable because, well, they can make us relapse, so no wonder we can start to see them as problematic. But here's the thing, you can't walk around in your day-to-day life being afraid of urges. And you say, why is that so bad then? Well, two things. First, because being afraid will just make your journey more miserable, simply because anxiety is a horrible feeling. And second, being afraid will make you resist the urges, and paradoxically that will actually increase your risk of relapsing rather than helping you. Yes, if you are afraid of your urges, it is like the urges become the hunter and you become the prey animal. That is a horrible way to live, so why not turn the table and make you the hunter instead? You see, there's this psychological phenomenon called the ironic rebound effect, which means that if you try to resist a strong emotion, it will actually just grow stronger. And what are you doing if you are afraid? Well, then you mentally go, oh no, urges, no, please go away, no! In other words, you are resisting them, and thus you are playing a losing game. So here's a trick for you. Take a piece of squared paper, like this one here, and then every time you get an urge to fap to adult sites, but you manage to just notice the urge without following it or without being afraid of it, you put a big fat X in the first square like this. And then once you successfully completed, for example, 15 squares in a row, you reward yourself with a good meal, a new t-shirt, or whatever you like. But don't make fapping to adult sites your reward. Obviously you understand that one, right? Now, this is a great game because it accomplishes several things. Since you now want to start collecting those X marks, it will help you become much more aware of that exact moment when you're hit by a trigger. This is so great because being mindful is literally the opposite of you being in that autopilot mode that so many of you are going into when you are relapsing. I mean, you are probably all familiar with that feeling of just getting dragged along after you've been hit with a trigger. Well, that's the autopilot taking over right there. And second, again, since you now want to start collecting those X marks, now you are the hunter and your urges are the prey animal. Yes, you have turned the table on it. This is good because now you're actually operating from a position of strength rather than from a position of weakness. You could even call this something powerful like the path of the warrior, and underneath that you might perhaps write something like my battles along the way, just to make it even more fun. Now, if you do that, keep in mind that during the moment when you actually feel an urge, you shouldn't fight the urge because that's actually the same as resisting. What works best is surfing the urge, which basically means that you just notice the urge without judging it, without resisting it, and without feeding or following it. You just notice how it washes over you until it's gone. You surf on it like a surfer surf on a wave in the sea. Yeah, so if you choose to call it something like this, then remember that those are just playful words you use when looking at your big NoFap mission as a whole, and not something that reflects how you tackle urge surfing. Or then recognize that if you use the word battles, then during the battle you actually fight by not fighting or resisting, if that makes sense. Alright, if you want more help with this, then consider checking out my rebooting guide. I talk more about that guide in this video right here, so take a look at that right now because I'm currently giving it away for free and I'm not really sure how long I should keep doing that. I might actually start putting a price on it at some point, but yeah, for now you can get it 100% free of charge.